Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Chris Chadwick, who is CEO at MetalNRG. How are you today, Chris?
I'm very well, thank you. Zach, how are you?
Doing well. I've described your deal in Morocco as one of the small cap deals of the year, and so maybe the market's catching up with that concept. But maybe you can just tell us a bit about the deal first.
Yeah, perfect. And thanks again for your support, Zach. It's really appreciated. So this is the deal that we've been working on since the beginning of the year. It's a reverse takeover of a producing copper mine in Morocco. The mine itself has been in existence since 2014, been operational since 2014. And it's being sold by Managem, who is the largest mining group in Morocco. Their strategy and focus has changed over the past sort of couple of years, and as they position themselves to be a tier one operator in the region, there's certain of these smaller assets which have become sort of non-core, and we've been fortunate enough that we've been able to enter into a transaction with Managem, and yeah, we're about to go live, so very exciting times.
I suppose one of the more exciting times is that whenever these normally you have deals and it's like you buy an asset and then there's 100 stages of feasibility studies, environmental this, and it just goes on and on and on, and it's a nightmare. You've actually got a producing mine. Last year it produced $28 million of revenue and 10.5 million EBITDA, so you can hit the ground running pretty quickly.
Yes, no, exactly. It's a well-established mine. It's got a very strong management team. The infrastructure itself is really good. There are some optimizations that we'll need to bring to the mine. What the mine is lacking at the moment is just in international focus and international investment, which is what we bring to the party.
I mean, speaking of that, you've got bridging finance in place now.
We do, I think one of the concerns that was raised on the last announcement was, there was a funding gap. We announced the fact that we had Orion funding in place for $25 million out of the $30 million acquisition price. And there was concern in the market in terms of how we were likely to bridge the balance of the $5 million. In the background, we've been working with a strategic investor, and the strategic investor, this morning, has executed a term sheet, in terms of their investment into what will be AMG. So it's monumental. We've obviously, funding of acquisitions like this is always the most difficult part. And to say that we're going to market with what is now a fully funded acquisition is a very strong value proposition for us to take to market. Zach?
I mean, actually, already your shares are up 9x this year, which must be some kind of a record for the stock market, at least for 2024 so far. But the shares are actually the same price roughly as when the deal was announced. Do you think that the market's still trying to understand the deal and how good it is?
And I think yes, and I think this was one of the overhangs that unfortunately the market had when we announced the transaction. We internally, as I said, we're working hard to bring the strategic investor on board, but obviously that we weren't in a position to make any type of announcement. So I think there was some clarity which we needed to put out in terms of the Orion financing, which we've done. And again, the balance of the purchase acquisition was the next overhang. So now that those are off the table, hopefully the share price will respond appropriately.
So the funding gap is out of the way. The copper price, I suppose, is also higher than it was last year. It was sort of around 8,500 last year. Now it's nearly 9,500. So whatever figures that you had, or the recent figures that we have are going to be hopefully better going forward. Are there any other headwinds apart from operationally that you can think of?
No, no. I mean, it's in terms of the jurisdiction, we couldn't ask for a better jurisdiction in Africa to be doing business. So we're in a very strong position, Zach, and it's hopefully this will be followed up by by more acquisitions in the short term. The goal is to build a mid-tier copper producing company, and this CMO is just the first transaction to get us on that strategic path. So it's a great transaction as our starting transaction, but it's by no means the last.
And presumably, given the copper price and your plans to make the existing production yet more efficient, the numbers could be better than they were last year.
Yes, yes. There's some short-term wins that Neil and the technical team have identified, which require very little amounts of capital. But that will be our focus during sort of our 100-day plan. Once we take ownership of the mine. So there's some very distinct operational improvements that can be made pretty quickly and reasonably inexpensively as well.
Well, we look forward to that. In the meantime, Chris Chadwick, CEO at MetalNRG, thank you very much indeed.
An absolute pleasure. And thank you. Thanks again for all your support, Zach.